Hi guys, it's Jamie here from Jamie and his whiskey. I hope you're all doing well. I'm back today for another whiskey review and I'm going to be looking at Laphroaig again. Now, if any of you follow this channel, you'll know that I reviewed Laphroaig about four videos back. We looked at the Laphroaig 10-year-old and also the cask strength. I had quite some strong views on those whiskies for different reasons. I love the 10 because of the memories I have for it, and the cask strength for how much of an improvement it is on the 10-year-old, because the 10-year-old does lack some mouthfeel now, and I don't believe that it carries that flavour forward enough. You know, it's 40%, it's got quite a watery mouthfeel, and I'm now on a journey where I'm looking for more authentic, slightly more integrity bottlings of whiskey that deliver that full experience. Now, as I said, the cask strength really does that for me, but it comes in at around the 65-70 pound mark. Another whiskey, which is the one I'm going to be reviewing today, comes in at about the same price. Now, this is not at cask strength, this is at 48%. So it's kind of like in between the 10 and the cask strength. This is the Laphroaig Law. Now, this was originally released in 2016 and was intended to be a limited run, I believe. However, it has stayed part of their core range. And they do say that it is the, I believe they say it's the richest Laphroaig ever. Did they say it on the back of this bottle? I'm not entirely sure, but I have read that somewhere. Laphroaig like to say these sorts of things though. They do say that they are the most richly flavoured of all Scotch whiskies, which is quite a bold statement. They're certainly richly flavoured, but I'm not sure if they completely take that crown. So you've got to take what Laphroaig say when it comes to marketing with a pinch of salt. Okay. Now, the reason why I bought this is because it's been on my radar for a while. I've heard really good things about it, and it's supposed to be like a best of Laphroaig. By that I mean they've taken various expressions of Laphroaig from whiskey they've put in different barrels, and they've merged them together to produce something like a best of legacy of Laphroaig. It offers a little bit of what Laphroaig does best. Okay, now I'm glad they've bottled this at 48%, which for me is about the sweet spot when it comes to whiskey. I'd say 46 to 48% is what you're looking at. And it's not cheap. It comes in, as I said, around the 60 to 70 pound mark, and that's in the UK. So if you're abroad, this might be even more. It's not cheap. Now, what I want to find out today and tell you about, is it worth the extra money? How different is it to the Laphroaig 10, to the quarter cask, which I haven't reviewed yet on this channel, but I am pretty familiar with the quarter cask, and I quite like it. I think it's really good value for money. They do say on the back that it's rich and deep with distinctive smoke, peat and seaside minerality. Now, that kind of applies to any Laphroaig, really. It's the result of the liquid being drawn from the selection of aged casks, including, and they've got here, first fill sherry casks, smaller quarter casks, and our most precious stock capturing the timeless passion and very essence of the Laphroaig distillery. I'm not exactly sure what that last bit means. It just sounds like a bit of waffle, but it sounds quite nice, I guess. Non-chill filtered. I don't think it's natural colour, so we can't assume that. But it's non-chill filtered, which is good, and bottled at 48%. Now, apparently the whiskey in this bottle is between 7 and 21 years of age. How much of it is 21 years of age? I doubt a lot. But hey-ho. You know, let's assume there's a little bit anyway. So, I've poured myself a glass about 10-15 minutes ago just to give it an airing out. And let's see what it's like. Yeah, so straight away, Laphroaig. Maybe a slightly sweeter version of Laphroaig. You get that initial sweet peat, and like they say on the bottle, seaside minerality. Now, I have actually written some notes because I was drinking this the other night, and I find that just pouring one drink, you don't get all the notes that come out. So I had a few, and I've written some notes for a change. So I thought I would go through these, I should say. So yeah, we've got the sweet medicinal tang, we've got the salt, we've also got this interesting note which comes up, which you don't get in the original Laphroaig. Now this is this smoked charred ends of meat, like a burnt brisket note. And this for me is the biggest difference between this and the original Laphroaig 10s and the quarter casks. It has a slightly more burnt meat note to it, which I really like. It just fills out the gap in the profile of this whiskey and makes it all very harmonious and more complex, which you would expect for the extra price. Yeah, you get obviously fruitiness, which you would expect to get, and vanilla. And the more you smell it, obviously you get the oak, you get some spices, all the usual kind of stuff. In fact, this whiskey is quite oaky. You also get a lovely leathery note to it as well. Okay. Yeah, immediately lots of nice peppery spice coming up. A good helping of oak, that's from that quarter cask again. The oak really pushing through now. The smoke just building and building and building and building. Absolutely lovely. Of course, that vanilla, citrus peel. Yeah, more medicinal sweet peat. Now the mouthfeel, when I initially opened this bottle, I was a tiny bit disappointed with. I don't know what I was looking for, but I was expecting something quite different to the original 10. And for me, when I drank it, and I still do in a way, it's like the quarter cask version, but with a bit more depth and complexity. Yeah, I have to say it is a pretty nice whiskey though. It's kind of got everything that I like. And it's very Moorish. It's very difficult to have just one and put it down. Now, I might have talked about this before in other whiskey videos. Sometimes when you open a whiskey bottle for the first time, you're immediately disappointed because you expected something more, you expected something different, as I did with this. I strongly advise you to give it time. Once you've opened it, let the whiskey bottle oxidize a bit. Have a glass or two, put the top back on, leave it for another week or two. Then come back to it, if you can be that patient. It will improve. Most whiskies will improve. I'm not saying this was bad when it came out of the bottle. It wasn't, but it was just a tad underwhelming. Now it's had a chance to sit in the bottle for 5-6 weeks. It's really coming into its own now. And I really appreciate this bottle for what it is. Now, I haven't mentioned water yet because I don't think that Laphroaigs go with water that well. It's not that adding water ruins the Laphroaig. For me, it doesn't do anything more. I think Laphroaigs are quite good just poured out, straight to drink. They're phenolic whiskies, and I tend not to add much water to phenolic whiskies for me. You also get some mint on the nose, some mint leaf, and like a vegetal twiggy note, and floral. Now I've got some real sweetness coming up, just coming to the forefront of the palate on the lips. It's really chewy and it's really delicious. It's quite a sweet whiskey actually. It's sweeter than the Laphroaig 10. And of course, You get the traditional Laphroaig toffee caramel notes coming through, that slight hazelnutty note as well, but it's more in the background with this one, not as quite prominent I think as with the quarter cask. If you like oaky whiskey that's sweet and medicinal, this is what you want. Now, as I said, this is not cheap. I'm going to have to ding it on that when it comes to marks. Would I buy this again at that price? I'm not sure if I would, unless I'm feeling really, really flushed. It's nearly £70 for a non-aged statement whiskey, and although I like it a lot, it is quite expensive. I think I might just go for the quarter cask next time. It's half the price. Okay, this is a bit superior, but is it worth double what the quarter cask is? I'm not so sure. So, in summary, I'm going to have to go with an 87 out of 100 for this. Definitely worth trying out. If you're a Laphroaig fan, you'll love it. I can't see you not liking it. However, at £70 nearly, it's quite a lot of money. So that's my take on it, really. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. As I said, like, share and subscribe on the video if you can. This is Jamie and his whiskey signing out. Take care of each other and all the best. See ya.